Tinkaroo. Guys, this podcast is starting out with a special announcement, but first, I brought the banjo back.
Oh no.
That's the first announcement.
The first of 3 announcements is that I only have 2 remaining announcements.
My second announcement is that the first announcement definitely counts as an announcement, all right? It's just making that clear.
Announcing your announcements counts as announcements.
That would be my second
So that's
announcement.
announcement 2.
So that's the first announcement. Welcome to the Corridor Cast, everybody. It's good to be back. We've got around the pod today. We've got myself,
Around the campfire.
Nick Laurent, Sam Gorski,
You know me from
And of
such hits
course-
as
from such hits
Avatar
as
2.
Avatar
Podcast
2
episode.
and Tiny Guns.
Yes. Yeah.
And then, of course, Nico.
Hi.
Hey, Nico.
I need no
Hey.
introduction. I should legally change my name to just
Nico
Nico.
needs
Just
no
Nico.
introduction.
First name Just.
Okay, so guess what's happening next week? For those of you who haven't found out yet, don't follow us on
Whoa.
Instagram. Don't listen to the
happening?
podcast very often. Well, guess what? We've got a very special announcement for you. Sam, what is it?
Well, I am excited to announce that next week I'll be going on my first hot air balloon ride.
That's not the announcement. Gosh, dang it.
Dude, that's
Are you really doing that?
No.
Which rental service?
Look, sorry. The announcement is that I have decided that I will go on a hot air balloon ride.
Have you decided what
Where
shape
are you
want the
doing
balloon in?
Did
this?
you get the Groupon or something?
No, actually, I really want to do. I was thinking about this the last 2 weeks, and it's like, skydiving could be pretty fun, but a hot air balloon ride is like all the thrill without the velocity.
Yeah,
So I
very
think
low risk of death.
very low risk, very mild way to get incredibly high. Anyways, the real announcement
exciting.
is that Son of a Dungan is coming out next week,
Son of a Dungan.
and
Gungion.
it's cool. It's coming along. The episodes are great. People say
Yeah,
they laughed at them and they thought they were, quote, cool. So the reviews are in.
The reviews are in. People said they laughed and were a cool episode.
Yeah.
You face a peculiar problem with Son of a Dungeon in that episode 2 is like exceptionally good, but it's not episode 1. You know,
I know.
the best. Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. All the episodes are good, but like the one where like, oh, this is actually really pretty solid, is episode 2.
I know. That's what I've been saying, where it's like the first episode is fine, but the second episode is where it like really gets like a turbocharge and everything gets really intense and really funny all at the same time. Yeah. So, but that's the whole point of a series, is that there's multiple episodes, and yeah,
There's 8 episodes.
there's 8. So yeah.
Wow.
Also, when we actually release the episode, first episode is going to be live on YouTube. Second episode will also be available on the site.
At the same
day.
time.
Oh, cool.
We're going to watch comments in real time on the podcast with Carmichael as the episode is released to the wild. And then we're going to turn that into a podcast. That's going to come out the next day. So a week from today, when this podcast comes out, Thursday, there's going to be another one where you're going to get live director and showrunner commentary from Sam and Carmichael. So Sam
Yeah.
doesn't even know it. Look at him. He doesn't even know that's happening.
No, well, I was.
Sam
I was
is news to me.
I'm also like out of town next week, so I'm thinking about how I'll make this work.
That's right. Sam is out of town.
Yeah, I'll be, there might be service up in that hot air balloon.
Okay. Well, shoot, son.
I'm gonna be above
I
town
did
next
forget.
week.
I did forget that you were out of town. Well,
Yeah, I just put
guess,
2 and 2 together.
We can pre-record some reactions from Sam.
Let's just
I'm
get
just
his
saying, we can do a whole gambit.
That was okay. That was a failed live announcement.
So
I guess you're getting that.
we need to come up with another announcement now.
Yeah.
Well, we could, I mean, we could just do it the following week. It's just not going to be as impactful because it's not going to be like as the episode is going live,
Yeah.
which is what I wanted.
Maybe I could just remote in and just freaking. It's like an hour. So yeah.
It's just an hour.
Yeah.
Hopefully you can.
Yeah, we'll figure that out. All right, cool.
Plenty
Okay.
of time once you're up there, velocity.
Yeah, hopefully can you do it from an air balloon? That would be the ultimate.
I won't be on it. I have an announcement. Which is that I will not be on a hot air balloon as the series premieres.
Come on. Let's make this happen. Let's get you on a hot air balloon.
No, it's not gonna work. Like there's no
at noon Pacific next Wednesday.
Oh my god. I don't know if I can orchestrate that, but
We'll
try
get
my
you
hardest.
up in the air. You'll have a phone, and you'll be looking. You'll be like, "Hey guys,
Hey, what up? I'm in a balloon.
hey, I don't really know where we're at in the episode, and I can't really hear anybody, but I'm up in a balloon."
Yeah, and we're like trying to do troubleshooting, like freaking like
Yeah.
Sam, your audio's not working. I'm like in this hot air balloon. It's like, hold on, did you mute your mic? Oh wait, hold on. Your video
Sam,
feed's
mute
cutting
your
out a little
mic.
bit.
Sam,
All the
mute your
comments are
mic.
saying like, can't hear him.
That would be
Let's
a
see if
great
we
live
can make
stream, I'm
that
just
happen.
saying.
Let's see if we can make that happen.
You
That
could do a
would be-
podcast where you're exclusively in a balloon.
Yeah, balloon boys.
Wait, what if we do a podcast where each one of us is in a separate balloon?
Oh my
if?
god,
What if?
the technology exists. We just
Hey,
need
if
to make
any
it
of you
happen.
podcast listeners out there happen to own a hot air balloon company and want to sponsor a podcast, I'm being serious, but I also highly doubt that any hot air balloon operators are listening to us.
Are you kidding me? There's
I know
literally
how hot air. I know
hundreds
how hot air balloons are to our demographic. Let me tell you,
dude. I
There's
was,
definitely one listening. There's at least 100 of them out there.
yeah.
apparently Temecula, where Christian's from, is a hot spot for hot air balloon
Yeah,
enthusiasts.
it's you get some good puns,
We
by
were-
the way.
we were
It's a
s-
real hot spot. For balloon
hot air
riding.
balloon capital of California, right there.
No, it
Temecula.
is.
It is, man. There's a lot of ballooners out there.
Is that what they call them?
Balloon captains.
Captains.
I'm a captain of a balloon.
Yeah, what are you called when you're
when you're on my vessel? You will refer to me.
My law is absolute. I am king.
Is
I
it
say
like
jump, you say how high.
once you're 3 miles above the
God.
surface, does the same international laws apply?
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
So is there like a Dakota like
It's like,
maritime law?
be careful what you say. That's the admiral right next to you. I was like, oh, sorry, I bumped into him like 20 times already. There's like nowhere else
Look
to
behind
stand.
you. This is
Standing
his
in the
fleet.
Admiralty's
You keep
quarters.
bumping into the admiral. It's like,
Every
there's no- I
balloon you
can't-
see,
there's
he
nowhere else to go.
controls.
Smaller balloons have to give way to bigger balloons.
We're in a basket.
in the basket.
Yeah, but it's a big
man.
basket. Okay,
I know, but depending, yeah.
Dude.
Is the captain the last one to go down with the balloon?
He gives the parachutes to everybody else.
Women and children first.
Oh my
Makes
god.
no sense. I love it.
I
It's
know.
great. Oh my
That's
god.
great.
Does he keeps like kid-sized parachutes? They're on
You
the
gotta,
side of the
yeah.
they're on the side of the basket.
No, they're just smaller balloons.
If you run out of sandbags to choke off the edge.
Yeah.
He's got smaller balloons hanging on the side of the basket, just like a ship would.
So I'm probably just incredibly stupid, but I've always found it weird that you put to make the balloon go down, you like put weights off the side of it or something, right? You get the sandbags and you like throw them off. That's in the movies. How
Why
they
would you
always
put
do
them
it.
out? How would that change
Well,
anything?
that's what I'm saying. Like it seems like it makes no sense at all.
No,
Like,
it's just that you just lower
You
the
stop.
heat in the
you just
balloon.
You
lower
stop
it, okay.
heating the air inside of the balloon.
I swear in like
Yeah.
some
Take the
movies
sandbags
I've
and
seen
put them outside
That's
the
what I'm
basket,
saying.
and
Like
then
it never made
lowers
sense.
the weight of the basket.
Because they're lower. Duh.
Oh my god.
Quick, lower the weights. We need to go down.
That's what never made sense in hot air balloon movies.
What's up? We're taking off.
Have you got, oh my god, there's this clip I saw.
Raise anger.
This freaking Irish dude, he's like, it's like a educational show, and he's like, here's a question you never thought about. What weighs more, a kilogram of steel or a kilogram of feathers? And then like a little timer pops up like you're supposed to think about it. He's like, that's right, a kilogram of steel.
Wait,
And then
what?
the rest of the video is just people people one by one coming up to me like, no. It's like, but steel is heavier than feathers. Anyways, oh god, it reminds me of that. Anyways,
Dude.
So any other?
So that's what we're gonna do,
Nick.
I just some more questions about hot air balloon physics, but we'll get to that another time when we have an actual balloon captain come on the.
I mean, how do they work, Nick?
Dude, Sam's about to find out. Report back.
Yeah, I'm
Let
about
us
to
know.
find out.
Let us know what happens when you take that
let's be
sandbag
serious
and
for a
you throw it
second.
off.
You never actually answered this question. Are you going on a hot air balloon ride or not?
I do not have a ticket to go on a balloon yet, but I am determined still to go on this hot air balloon ride.
Where are
at
you
least going
going?
to a
Are you actually,
place?
is this like in the near future that you were determined to
This
make
is
it
next
happen?
week. This
Are you
is
going
next
to
week.
Temecula next week?
As early as next week, if things work out.
Did you just clear your schedule for a week to prospectively go on a balloon ride?
You got me. I cleared my entire week next week to see when I impulsively just wake up and go, it's the day.
Sometime
Are you
this
going
week.
somewhere in particular, Sam?
Yeah, I'm going up to northern Minnesota.
Oh,
Yeah, going up to a
there
cabin.
are hot air balloons up there.
That's the thing. I know. There are
Where, like
plenty.
Itasca County,
think he doesn't
or even
know.
There's
further north?
hundreds.
Like near Grand Rapids, Minnesota, which is it's like 3 hours north of the city, 4 hours.
I don't know where the bid
Is that
ends in
considered
reality
part of the
begins right
Iron
now.
Range?
Yeah, it's
Grand Rapids?
adjacent to it.
Okay. Interesting.
Exciting.
Yes.
Glad you could update all the listeners.
Yes. As you can tell, I'm incredibly excited.
So you're going on a balloon ride over Lake Superior.
Maybe.
And at that time,
Maybe
you will
I
be
am.
on the podcast.
Are you going to make the sandwiches before you go on the balloon, or are you going to kind of just freestyle them up in the air?
That's actually a good question. What do you do if you're hungry?
Dude, that's why I'm
What do
asking.
you do
I
with the
thought you
balloon
had it
pops?
planned out.
Do they like check your bag to make sure you're not carrying anything too heavy?
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah,
hijack
you have to go. You have to go through a metal detector. Yeah, they have to,
Yeah.
you have to go through a
Like
body scanner.
I'll bring like a whole Puget up there. I'm like, sir, I have to be live streaming in a few moments.
No,
It's like,
those
sorry,
aren't
sir, you
allowed up
can't bring
here.
anything on
Yeah.
this balloon that may be
Sorry,
dangerous to the
no
personnel.
internet when
there a
we're
power outlet on this
taxiing or
balloon?
taking off or
Is there a
landing.
USB
Are
charger?
there at least USB outlets somewhere on this?
Please
I don't know.
refrain from using your electronic devices during taxi takeoff and
Yeah.
landing.
Yeah.
This is
like-
might interfere with the radios.
Yeah. Oh, there is a balloon mode on your phone. Have you guys seen that? Yeah,
It puts out the least heat possible so you don't augment the trajectory.
yeah. It's like a low power mode.
Jesus.
Oh my god! Can we just make a whole podcast about hot air balloon
We're
jokes?
already halfway there.
Yeah, it's already happening.
Balloon
that
food,
balloon-
am I right?
I'm gonna be honest. I don't think any one of us can top Sam's balloon joke right there. That's probably the best one.
Oh man!
Let's just stop.
All right. So
What
hard pivot.
was your other announcement? You said you had 3.
Oh, well, we'll get to that. I'll save it for the end. Yeah. So just to bring it full circle here, cool show. Son of a Dungeon coming out very soon.
It's funny
On the
watching it
29th.
after playing it. And it's like, wow, like we were just really on top of it. We knew exactly what to do. We're so coordinated. And then like at the end of episode 2, like it actually plays some table talk. And it's like, oh, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
All
we
those
cut
other
everything
hours.
out. Yeah. Well,
yeah, we
it's-
cut
it's-
out 3 out of every 1 hour.
yeah,
Wow.
for every hour you see, there's 3 cut.
Holy.
Yeah. So it's like
a
how you do
lot.
it.
Yeah.
It's like, but as far as like a storytelling standpoint is concerned, like that's really freaking efficient. You know, imagine the amount of time spent working on like a script or filming
Yeah.
stuff on set, how long that takes versus that.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. And like so that way it has the pace of a movie basically, where it's just story beats happening.
The
I'd
dialogue
say it has
scenes-
the pace. It has the pace of a television show. I feel
Yeah,
like.
it definitely does. Like I was feeling like, oh, this is actually making me feel like I'm watching a movie. Not as in like I feel like I'm watching a movie, as in like it's triggering the same emotional ups and downs that a movie triggers in me. Like a
And
decent movie.
when each episode ended, I immediately got excited to continue the story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The scenes, Jake, between you and Sam, where you guys are in character talking back and forth, are like actually legitimately funny. And like the rhythms that you guys like fall into are really good.
Yeah.
Especially love the evil count character or whatever. I forget his actual.
Vincilius?
Yeah, Vincilius. So funny.
Yeah. Oh yeah, when we're in the bar
It's great.
and you're talking to me about the tadpoles.
Yeah. And then you convince him to go drink it in his treasure room.
Yes.
He gets all the way back. Like there's somehow like a little story happens. He comes back like, all right, drink up. We're like in the treasure room. He's like, oh, all right. He gets him to go there still.
Oh man.
And then you're in there, Nico.
Yeah,
I won't
it's
describe
funny.
how, but you're in
Yeah.
the room and he's trying to swat you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good.
It's pretty funny, yeah. It's crazy, but like, so I don't have the exact number, but there's like about 30 green screen shots per episode, and then about 60 to 70 individually unique full CG shots per episode as well.
Yeah.
And it's pretty wild if you think about like the volume of footage that we can, like VFX we can put into it, because like the shots in Unreal take longer to set up than they do to render, which normally it's like more even with like 3D work sometimes, where it's like, oh yeah, I work on this for an hour or two, and if I want it to like be animated and render it out, it'll take an hour or two to render out. But it's just like seconds, so just flying through these shots. And
Are you even
Cool.
using a render station, or are you just doing it all from...
no, I just do it on my computer. Like I work for an hour or two, and then I hit render, and I take like a 15-minute break basically, and then I come back and I've got like a dozen shots ready to go.
Awesome.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
getting-
it's pretty great. It's
we're
really
getting
easy
Smash
to
games in.
understand where we are in the maps,
Yeah.
what's
Yeah.
happening,
That's
who's
like-
there.
Yeah.
And that's always been my problem with watching other D&D shows is you I mean, you can imagine it. You end up coming up with it in your head just like you're reading a book, but
Well,
seeing it immediately just
Me
kind
too.
of...
Like I
makes
try
it
and
more-
watch any other show, and you pop in, and it's like sure, yeah, maybe you don't know the whole story. You're not starting at the first episode, but even still, it's like it's really hard to catch up and go like, wait, where are we? Like, what's happening? Who are we talking to? Who are these characters? Like, and with this, it's like that constant visual reminder of like, oh, you're in this guy's office, or you're in a dining hall, or you're in a cave, or it's like there's you get so much more information so quickly.
Are you
with
going to
it.
do an intro, that contextual intro at the top of the first episode?
Oh, like a recap?
Well, there's just like a lot of things we talked about that aren't at the beginning of the first episode, I noticed, which is basically like we kind of go over this, but it's very brief. And it's just like, who are these guys? Why are they doing this?
Yes, we have
There's
that.
a
We
little
have
bit of
that, and you may have missed it because in one of the exports, there's the whole fly through
Yeah.
sequence that Peter rendered.
Okay.
And that's like about a minute long, and in that minute, there's VO that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It's
I
like,
don't
here's
have
all the
that
exposition.
version.
You guys are monster hunters, blah blah blah, and you got a top secret mission.
I don't have that version.
I,
That's
I
why.
did the same thing, Jake. I watched it and none of that was in there. It just started and it's like, all right, guys, so we're here in the woods and like, okay, you guys walk up.
Okay, yeah, that
And
was.
I was like, Sam, maybe we should like have like a title card or
No, that
like
was just a mistake.
intro, like
Yeah, no, there's a whole freaking thing.
yeah. And then you showed me and I'm like, oh, okay, that's
yeah.
badass. It all makes sense
It all
now.
makes sense. Yeah, so it's pretty sweet. It's pretty cool.
Can't wait.
Tons of work.
Do you think people are going to want to see a second season? Honestly.
Yes. And with the we almost owe it to
There's two
ourselves.
sighs right there, by the way. I'd just like to point out, Sam went yes, then he gave an exasperated sigh, and then he started talking, pause, and he gave one more exasperated sigh, and then he went into
Well,
it.
I can explain. So I sigh. Whenever I sigh, that means I have
An angel loses its
a dark
wings.
thought.
Oh no.
And I'm serious. I'm very serious. It like I audibly like whenever I think of something that's stressful or something like that, I just it happens now. But
it
the
out,
reason I
man.
sighed is because, well, first off, almost like regardless of like how the show does, there's this time investment that's been put into it. For example, we filmed it in February, and it's being released in September. And that's a lot of months to work on a D&D show.
Yeah.
And a big reason for why it took so long was because of the virtual camera system that was put together for the green screen. That took basically like 2 months.
Months.
Like I wasted so much freaking time getting that stuff working, and it barely worked at the end. So that was a big chunk of time spent there. But then also like the entire concept of like, well, what are we gonna do with these models? Like, how do we, show more shots of this? Like putting it together in Unreal and all this learning curve of taking these huge models and rendering them in real time and blah blah blah. And so now that I feel like I'm on the other side of it now. I'm rendering out the establishing shots for like the 7th episode right now.
Yeah, so you're close. There's 8 episodes.
So there's 8 episodes, and now that I've, now I can finally kind of look back on the process and go, oh my god, like we could have done this so much faster if we would have done like X, Y, Z, and so we could have done it in half the time with what I know now. So it's like it's almost a thing of knowing how cool the show is and what time we've put into it. It's like worth it to just make the 2nd season because of how much more efficient it can get. And I don't know. I think
Carmichael's saying the same thing.
I think there's something there.
Yeah, he was saying the same thing just about his process to get to the, near final edits and the capture, the dumping process, the daily process, like the assembly process, just all the way through on the editing side too.
I mean, I really hope people like it, and I hope it does well by whatever metrics we kind of set for ourselves here, because it's, it's the first exclusive, it's the first big exclusive show. Crew Cuts technically is already a big exclusive show. I mean, 100 episodes, that's a ton of time. It's been coming out for a year.
But this is the first narrative.
Yeah, and there's a ton of like CG, it's like it's got a lot of spectacle to it and blah blah blah, and it definitely taps into like a popular culture thing, D&D. Yeah, so hopefully it does well, and then we can make a 2nd season in a fraction of the time, and it'd be really cool.
Yeah, I'm hoping we can film it ideally people like it, we film it top of the year, and then it's out by
it'd be out
May,
by like
June.
Yeah, definitely. Even so, like the virtual camera thing too. Like I can't say specifically what this is publicly, but I got in contact with a group of people who are basically making hardware that solves all the virtual production issues that we were facing, from like frame drops and how do you sync your camera with the background and all that stuff, to the point where it's effectively like a plug and play system. Damn. And we'll be testing it here in the studio in a matter of weeks, basically. But that solves a ton of issues, a lot of headaches. We had to like cut multiple shots frequently because we'd lose tracking or something would happen, and this fixes all that. So it makes it faster. And then the whole like digitizing the maps process, like photo scanning that stuff and figuring that process out, was kind of a nightmare, because we were like, how big do these maps need to be? How are we going to scale them? How do we clean up all this like geometry when we get these 3D files of the maps? So
wait, the box doesn't do that though.
No, the box is no. But
okay,
there's a whole learning curve and process of, all right, hey, I'm gonna photo scan 4 huge maps that have multiple pieces and parts, and we're chopping them up. Like the doors, doors literally sucks. Doors suck. We photo scanned doors on the map and had to cut them out of the 3D model afterwards to make it all work. And even like cutting out one door is like just like half hour to 45 minutes of work. Just making one door movable.
Yeah.
And so
there's a whole episode where all we do is move doors.
Yeah. It's the door. What?
The door episode.
That was a joke.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. Anyways,
I remember, Sam, a few days ago, you were saying like, I'm just gonna rescan all these characters in Polycam.
yeah, I did that.
And then you literally re-rendered every single shot they're in just like a matter of minutes.
Yep, and they're all done. So yesterday, that was the other thing too. So we used reality capture for the maps, which is great for huge, massive, high polygon through photo scans, because you can control like, do you want 16K textures? Do you want 4 8K textures? Like, how do you want to break this? Tons of control, but you have to use a normal camera for it. And so when you're scanning like the actual miniatures, it's really tough because, you know, a lens has depth of field, and blurry stuff in your image translates to blurry textures. So I basically rescanned like the main like NPC cast with Polycam, which is just on your phone, and they're super high quality and they look way, way better. And so because it's all in Unreal, I can basically scan these models from scratch, re-import them into Unreal, basically replacing the old models. And then without having to touch a single thing in any scene, I just bring open all the sequences from the first. I did literally 75% of the sequences from the first 4 episodes. I just dragged them into the render queue and hit render and walked away. And I replaced all the files this morning. So the first 4 episodes now has higher quality like character models. And it took like an hour and a half to render it all. It's insane. But like you do that, like once again, if we were in Blender or Cinema 4D, that would have been a nightmare to try and do. You have to open every individual file, and you're like, okay, well, you know, you have to then take the new model and put it in the old position. You know, you can't just like quickly replace a file. You know, it's more like using After Effects or Premiere, where you're like, oh, I have a piece of footage. I'm just gonna re-import this footage at a new like file path, and then it just replaces it there in the timeline. It's basically the equivalent of that, but for 3D.
Right.
So it's super fast. It's really cool. It's really efficient. Definitely could not be doing the show without that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad the tools are coming along. I mean, yeah, it was kind of like, hey, do we do this cutting edge thing with in a way that we've never really created anything before? And you just kind of have to. I mean, that's how we've done anything, though. You just take it on faith, and you know the intended outcome. You know the technology is stable enough to at least get a proof of concept. And then you know we did that. I mean, and you've been doing that for. I mean, what was the first like virtual reality mix thing that we started with? I can't even remember at this point. It was like 2 years ago.
Was it?
What was it?
It
no,
wasn't
it was
Avatar.
it was the
Lion King?
No, it was the Area 51 game.
Oh yeah,
right.
Oh yeah, okay.
That
So
was the
yeah,
first. That was the first one that was like, here's a game engine.
Yeah.
Let's mess with that.
That was
But
very
from-
glitchy. I remember.
I know. Oh my god.
Trying to
it's
get the
also,
boy to stop sliding
worked.
around. Yeah.
but it was also like Unity, because Unity
So
is like a
funny.
lot more bare bones than Unreal is.
Well, there was also Sakura Digger,
Oh yeah, I guess that was the first one. Rest in peace.
the graveyard. Yeah, it's totally gone. It doesn't exist anymore.
Yep, 100% gone.
Rip.
That's what he wants you to think.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, we knew that it was going to be a bit of a challenge, but I'm just glad that we went through, and you know, especially from a technical side, you and Carmichael and Spencer and Natalie just going through all of that, and then now with these season 2 tools, it's like, okay, we know we have all this extra knowledge, but we only need to be able to do this.
Yeah.
So it should be more efficient. We'll see.
It will be. It'll be great. It will be awesome.
Doing 2 seasons a year would be the ideal, I think, for that, if it can be efficient.
It's possible. It's possible.
I think in terms of Sam's time.
Yeah, if someone
don't
else
think getting 2
could
seasons.
render out
Yeah.
all the shots, then yeah, it'd be easier.
Obviously, yeah. You're not gonna be able to just do exactly what you're doing for this season for every season. Not if we're gonna scale it.
Yeah.
But I mean, look at VFX Artist React. Like, you look at the first episode of that show, and it's kind of janky.
Not kinda. It's
Oh,
very
full-on
janky.
jank.
Yeah, it's super janky. The thumbnail's janky, like the whole thing. And
But so
it's
was the first
rickety.
Model T Ford, you know? It was just
Yeah.
like
Hey,
built
exactly.
in a cave.
This
so-
shitty car.
Yeah. Because the React show is completely equivalent.
I remember we initially filmed the microphones in the room, so it was just like boomy, like room tone audio.
It's like people coughing and like sneezing
Yeah,
and
because
shit.
everybody's working behind us the
everyone's
whole
literally
time.
right around you. It's like, hey, let's
Didn't we lose audio for an entire one, or maybe
Yeah,
it was
the one with Ilram.
Ilram, yeah.
Yeah, so we had to use the on-camera audio.
That was,
Do we have on-camera audio as a backup
We
still?
do. We do.
Okay, cool. Just double checking on live on the podcast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
This does kind of double as a
we could
end
do
of
a
day
room
meeting.
it
mic.
does. Yeah.
We could do a room mic.
We have a room mic, apparently, kind of.
Yeah. Well, there's one on the camera,
Yeah.
so
That's the same camera. Yeah.
we
That's
can
the same
ADR
camera
it if we
mic.
need to. It's fine. That'd be such.
I'm glad we haven't had any like. Eelrom's the closest we've had to like.
Oh, don't say that.
technical,
Where's
but-
some wood I can knock
Sorry,
on?
never mind. Never mind.
No,
Yep.
you're right. There hasn't since that day. I was traumatized by hearing that episode, and I was like, never again.
That's good. That's how people learn.
It honestly is.
Trauma.
Trauma. A little bit.
Yeah,
real.
Yeah, for real.
For real.
Yeah.
It's a very powerful learning tool.
Yeah.
Nico, how's your edit going? We talked about it a bit 2 weeks
yeah.
ago or
Lightsabers.
last week.
Or
Yeah.
energy swords.
Yeah. I was late to the podcast because I was working on it. I was messing around with color grading and that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's super cool. But you know what? I don't know. This is so far out, and like I feel like I can't talk about much more. I can just
Don't
say
want to
it's
hype
good.
it up too much yet.
I don't want to hype
It's
it up
cool.
too much yet.
You should say it's cool.
good.
It's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool.
That's all. What's the coolest thing about it?
I'm gonna leave it at that.
Oh, really? Not even.
No. Just give me some time. It's not time to build hype yet. I don't want to steal the thunder
How are
away
you gonna
from
do the
Son of a
lightsaber
Dungeon.
effects in it?
I don't know.
Is there a plugin for that at this point?
I have multiple ideas because the actual
Isn't there
prop,
a plugin for that at this point?
there is. This is like the best one ever made by Video Copilot for free. But
Okay.
the lightsabers themselves are so bright that there's also potentially a way to do the lightsaber effect without ever having to do anything by hand and just key the image. But I also don't want it to be lightsabers. I want them to be energy swords. I want them to be different than lightsabers to some degree, where they feel a little bit more dangerous, a little bit more deadly, a little bit sharper. You know, it's just lightsabers were invented in the 70s and they really haven't changed their style too much since then. I feel like there's a lot to be done in that space. I feel like innovation around energy swords is a little stagnant these days.
Well,
So-
has there been like a lightsaber style weapon in anything else? Like
Kinda.
Everyone's too afraid.
everyone's too
Yeah.
afraid because they're like, that's a lightsaber.
In video games, they're all over the place in video games.
I mean, it's just glowing magic swords, I guess.
Yeah, it's just, white
Anime.
core, color fringe. I mean, we can do better than that. I'm going to try to do better than that. So
Camo.
We will.
Camo?
do
Yeah.
better.
we will do better than
You
that.
gubut innovated with that video more
Just
than
gonna
anyone
3D
has in a long
track
time.
chrome rods onto each one.
Track some hairy lightsabers.
Dude.
But I think there's stuff you can do with it's plasma energy. It's being focused through something. You can do like stuff with like spitting globs of energy or sparks, light beams. Having
I
a
love
tip
this
that's not
ambitious vibe.
a tip that's not round but sharp instead. Nothing like a rounded
Ooh.
tip.
Making it sharp.
I mean, come on, this is
Ouch.
low hanging fruit. It's been sitting there for somebody to walk along and pluck from the tree. So
Serrated,
I'm
like
gonna
a
pluck
saw
it.
blade.
Serrated.
Are you going to give it actual metallic sound effects?
Like
No.
dong.
Just a low dong.
Bong, bong.
Broadsword
pans.
sound effects?
Well, you could also do like a cool like particle system thing too, where it's like you just go like, all right, I'm gonna like constrain this like vortex of particles or something on it, where it's just swirling stuff happening.
Yeah, I agree.
That'd be a lot of tracking
Also
and a
get
lot of
fancy with
3D
the
work.
flaring. Yeah, we're probably not going to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah. No, I think there is a lot of stuff you could actually do with it.
Could you tell an AI to do it?
I could. I don't know what I'd get back though.
Could be interesting.
Error.
It's just a perfect lightsaber effect.
It's like I just think
Basically.
it's like all the AI would know is lightsabers, so it's just gonna be.
You
a
just showed a
lightsaber.
bunch of Star Wars movies, and you're like, so these guys are fighting with sticks. You know what to do, AI. And the AI just makes them lightsabers.
Honestly, that you could probably do
That's
that.
fucking hilarious.
And
It makes everything that's like a pole in the
a
screen.
couple grad students could probably knock that out in a few months.
You
Yeah,
just show them
I-
a bunch of behind the scenes from Star Wars
Yeah.
where they're using sticks.
You need to give them before and after.
It turns every stick. People are just walking through telephone poles.
Yeah, there's like
getting
stop
cut in
signs that are
half.
on lightsabers. Just
Everything
like
starts glowing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I did start looking into solar generators over the weekend.
Yeah.
This is what Ren would say if he was in the room.
here's the
and asked me.
futurology segment.
So
In the future. In the future, no one will have toes.
They'll have been absorbed into the foot.
I like how every like single futuristic prediction of what humans are gonna be like completely forgets the whole like your physical manifestation is due to like what leads to more reproduction. It's like how would not having toes make you reproduce
Think
and
about it.
survive
When was
better?
the last time you used your toes?
I mean,
In the
only
future.
literally not having toes would only be a thing in the future if it actually was like more attractive to women. It's like, ooh, that guy's toes are real short.
I've met women that don't like
That's
toes.
funny.
That guy only has 2 toes.
That guy doesn't even have any toes. I want to have his children. Boom. That's how you end up with no toes in the future.
Just do that millions of times.
Millions of
Yeah.
times over thousands of years.
Or whatever. The robot couldn't. The robot scanning for people couldn't identify the people without toes as human, so they survived. Hence.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if one part of our bodies were to de-evolve, what would it be then? If it weren't toes, what do we never use
our
that we still
brains.
have? Our brains. What about earlobes? Who needs earlobes? Like, what the fuck do
They
those
get
do?
pierced all the time. You
Yeah,
know?
but that's just
So, arguably,
not
someone
why
without
we have
earlobes
them.
wouldn't wear earrings, and then maybe they'd end up missing on that.
Well, don't your
I think
earlobes
that's
help?
why we evolved earlobes.
Don't your earlobes help you capture sound?
Like they resonate
Yeah.
like this.
Kind of.
No, like it hits it and it goes through this like thing right here and into
Yeah,
your ear.
man,
That's why it's
possibly.
curved like that.
Possibly.
Yeah, kind of. I think so. I don't know how. See, here's the thing. I don't know how.
Well,
like,
does that mean I can hear better than Nico?
I mean, I know your ear's like fleshy cup around the hole in your head like helps direct sound into your ear and makes it better.
Yeah.
But I do wonder how mechanically efficient it is. Like, is this like you know, a godlike perfect design of like acoustic resonance, or is it just like weird fleshy bits that are a little wrinkled and they don't need to be? You know, like if these are perfect like satellite dishes,
not
would they be
perfect.
better?
We're all works in progress, man.
We're all works in progress.
It's just always changing. We
Yeah.
still have hair. Why the fuck do we have hair? We don't have hair.
What do you think GPT-3 has to say about the future?
Yeah, there you go. Here we go. Get it.
Oh boy. So I'm gonna give it a really good prompt.
Dear computer, what is the
And
future
so
like?
here's the prompt. The prompt is: we asked a really smart computer what it thought the future would be like. Period. Here are its top 10 predictions.
All right.
Another classic top 10 GBT3. Here we go.
BuzzFeed article generator. Let's go. And this is Popular Mechanics, actually.
All right, let's try it again.
Oh.
Here we go.
Can't do it.
1. Virtual reality. 2. Biohacking. 3. Weird space travel. 4. Robots. 5. New cities. 6. Flying cars. 7. Better homes. 8. 3D printing. 9. Self-driving cars. 10. Advanced AI.
That's it. I mean, this is
So number
wait,
1 is AI, and number
That's-
10 is
Wait, what do you think
advanced
humans
AI.
will look like in the future?
In the future, we'll all be really, really bored. You'll be able to summon a robot servant to do anything for you.
Wow.
The pyramids will finally have some competition.
What does that mean?
We'll have a more efficient way to get around town. You'll have a personalized soundtrack for every moment
Oh,
of
that's
your
wonderful.
life.
I'm down with that.
You won't have to worry about getting lost. We'll finally have a cure for cancer. The internet will be a much more enjoyable experience. There won't be any more traffic jams. You'll be able to travel anywhere in the world in 15 minutes. You'll also be able to read minds, eat anything you want, never gain weight, skip straight to the front of any line. Yeah, you get a chair that massages you and moves you around to keep you comfortable. And you store your stuff in the cloud. You can do that. Oh, yeah. You'll be able to charge your phone by breathing on it.
Then you
Yeah.
won't just be a mouth breather in the future. You'll be a phone charger too.
Yeah.
That's really good. That's a good one. That's a
I like
really,
how it's like doesn't understand the concept of like cutting to the front of a line if everyone can cut to the front of the line.
Yeah.
Can you ask it what humans will look like as we evolve?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
In the year
yeah.
3, no one would. We asked the world's smartest computer what it thought humans would. Okay.
Would look like.
In the
We
year
asked
20,
The world's
300.
smartest computer what it thought humans would look like in the year 3000. Period. Here's what it had to tell us.
All right.
I'm excited.
I'm excited for this one, too.
Earlobes, $20. Earlobes.
Toes,
gone.
maybe?
Toes is definitely going to be on there. Toes has been on the chopping block for generations.
We need webs back, honestly. Swimming powers. Let's go.
All right, GPT-3.
I'm excited.
Oh,
Maybe you need to give it a
glitched.
top 10
I
again.
want to ask it also, like, what are some obscure hot air balloon laws?
Yeah.
or
if hot air-
just hot air balloon laws in general, because
Oh my god, it's all just about sex dolls.
they're naturally going to be obscure.
Go on.
Maybe we need to rephrase it as like human beings. If human beings keep evolving, here's how
Oh,
our
yeah.
bodies will change.
If human beings keep evolving, here's the most noticeable changes you'll see, : All right, here we go. Healthier.
Yes.
More attractive, more tolerant, more considerate. Obviously, yes. Okay, here we go. 1, we'll be able to live in water. 2, we'll see the end of disease and cancer. 3, we'll live to be around 200 years old. 4, we'll all be like super mutants.
Oh, we'll be like super.
5, we'll have the power to fly. 6,
Okay.
we'll also be able to teleport. We can move objects with our minds. We can control minds. We can change our appearances. We'll have the ability to breathe fire.
But can we change our minds?
We'll be able to survive in space, see the future, communicate with animals, plants, machines, the Earth, the universe,
What?
multiverse,
Wow.
with everything.
Whoa. Wow.
We'll be able to change the past and future and travel through time.
Wow.
And we can determine our own destinies, create life, change matter. And
Wow.
the list is we have a 30 item list now.
So we're gods in the future.
Just
Good to
straight up
know.
godlike
so
creatures.
it just turns into God mode there.
Okay.
What do we complain about once we're gods? Can you ask it that and see what it gives
Oh,
us?
here's the top 10 things that gods complain about.
Yeah.
All right. Here are the top 10 things that gods complain about. : 1, not taking him seriously. 2, saying we're not sure if God is real. 3, saying we don't know what God wants. 4, saying God is not interested in our lives. Okay.
These are like
That's
real
really wholesome.
complaints. I want like the
Yeah, it's
Greek
like an
gods.
actual, like, church
I want
flyer.
the Greek god complaints.
Yes.
It's so wholesome.
Maybe I'll change it from gods to deities.
Yeah. Or Roman gods.
Omnipotent beings.
All right, here's the top 10 things that. Oh my god, my typos are all.
That
Typos matter. Because otherwise it learns actually, if you put typos in, does it just make the rest of the writing sloppier?
All right,
Probably.
well, worshippers sacrificing animals, they complain about that. Sacrificing other worshippers when people offer a small offering.
Dude, that's such a meme format. Dude, when someone makes a small offering, it's, like, well,
No, it's
Bruce,
actually
man,
it went off the
fucking-
rails. It's all about tiny offerings and how annoying that is.
Wait, I want to hear this.
Yeah, well, no,
wouldn't
it's literally
believe-
just the same thing over
I
and
was
over
just
again.
down at Earth. You wouldn't believe what they're giving away to us these days.
Dude.
When people give offerings to other deities for more than one day and do not give deities or do not give offerings to them longer than one day. That's
To the other
very
deities.
obscure, very specific.
Very petty, yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
you got
anyways.
2 days? Oh, man.
Oh, man.
Anyways, well, sorry.
Now we know.
Just got to interrupt the flow here with some random AI shit.
No, this
that's
is the
great.
futurology segment.
Yeah,
Dude, we just
this
got
is
to the bottom
This is
of
the
it.
futurology
Yeah.
segment.
I'm excited for the future now. That sounds cool.
yeah, me too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I feel like the thing that kept me going was looking forward to your hot air balloon ride. But
Oh.
now, beyond that, when that's over, the next thing I have to look
Can
forward
we
to is
ask
breathing
about
fire.
what the top 10 obscure balloon ride laws are?
Oh yeah.
We can Google that.
All right,
too.
but that's going to be the end of our podcast.
Oh, okay.
Well,
doing a
while
shorty.
Sam's looking
Or
that
should
up,
we talk about maybe like what the hierarchy of like balloon
crewmen are.
crewmen
No, no,
are?
ask it what,
yeah,
ask it the like, balloon crewman.
Like,
Ask it what the wackiest balloon accidents are.
oh, okay, the wackiest hot air
Ask
balloon.
it to
accidents.
describe the ranking structure of balloon culture. the authority
You seem like
structure of
Google's
balloon
not
culture.
GPT-3 searches.
Okay, I'm gonna start with hot air balloon accidents. Here are the 10 most wacky hot air balloon accidents that ever happened. I did delete it at all. I have to type it now.
You can't just voice it a second time?
It deleted. I'm just typing it for.
Do you guys know about like the fast typing method on your phone where you just swipe your finger across the letters?
Yeah.
I'm trying to transition to that.
Command
really.
structure, hot air balloon, command
command.
structure.
Oh no, these are all just like legit. Oh my gosh.
Are they not wacky?
Like hitting power lines and bursting the flames. Oh, here we go. The 10 wackiest hot air balloon accidents that ever happened. 10. The War of the Air. In July of 1794. This is why it's 10, by the way, not number 1. The French Revolution was in full swing. The Jacobins had control of the government and thousands of... Wait, where's this going? I want to see where
They
this is going.
captured the whole fleet of balloons.
So, French citizens were being executed by treason. Very dark time here. And then, what are the Jacobins? Do you know what these people are?
Jacobians or whatever?
Jacobins?
I don't know.
Nope, don't
It's
know.
a faction in the French Revolution, I'm sure.
Okay, so they started an insurgency against the government and began burning down buildings and killing people. They sent soldiers to put down the rebellion, and they were led by none other than Napoleon. The insurgents were trapped in a fortified chateau on the outskirts of Paris.
Okay.
They had plenty of food and water, so they were able to hold out for several weeks. Bonaparte, Napoleon, that is, decided to use his hot air balloons to attack the chateau.
Oh, here we go. It came back around.
Yeah.
The first balloon he sent was filled with explosives, but the wind blew it off course, and it exploded. Come on. Why? Oh, it's hanging up.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
The Jacobians,
exploded
the
harmlessly
Jacobians
in the woods.
established Republican
Napoleon
government.
came to power because of the battle prowess earned by sending balloons into battle.
So yeah,
He's basically a glorified clown.
So the next balloon was filled with poison gas, but it landed in the moat around the chateau. The soldiers in the chateau thought it was the insurgents trying to gas them, so they opened fire on the balloon to destroy it. The last hot air balloon Bonaparte sent was filled with his soldiers. The soldiers landed on the roof of the chateau and were able to take it without any casualties.
It's like, yeah, okay, first balloon
These are
blew up,
good.
second one caught on fire. Let's put people in the third one.
Yeah.
That sounds like a great idea.
You're not going to believe number 9. The hot air balloon of death. In 1849, an Italian named Luigi Torelli was the first person to use the hot air balloon in a war. Well, after Napoleon. Come on. He was previously in the French military, but he came to Italy after being expelled for being a revolutionary.
I want to use balloons for everything.
Once in Italy, he began experimenting with hot air balloons and eventually began using them in war. He used a hot air balloon with a bomb attached to it to bomb the city of Venice.
One bomb.
The bomb landed in a residential area, killing 4 people. Torelli was captured and executed.
Wow, that's the tale of Torelli.
He drops one bomb and gets executed.
This is the bomb that will end the war.
A Jacobin was a member of the radical part of the revolution that promoted the reign of terror.
God.
And eventually
They were the SS of the French Revolution.
they were
Just really all
they were
about
the
killing
hard
everyone.
they were the extreme ones who
Gotcha.
That was
They were the guillotiners.
I'd hardly call
Yes.
these accidents, though.
yeah.
What else does it have?
Number 8 is certainly an accident.
He accidentally got executed?
It's the balloonists' last flight. It was the August of 1852. A hot air balloon was carrying an American girl named Hannah Reed. She was on her way to meet her father at the Great Exhibition in London. She was accompanied by her 17-year-old brother John and a 15-year-old French girl named Elizabeth. They were flying over the town of Hertfordshire when the balloon began to descend. It was on a collision course with a farm. The pilot desperately tried to steer it away from the building. It didn't work, and the balloon crashed into the farmhouse. Everyone was killed.
This is why you can't hijack balloons, all right? It's dangerous shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was kind of mediocre.
incredibly dangerous.
7 is pretty good so far, promising. It's called Inventing a New Sport. In 1866,
this is going.
there was a hot air balloon race that
The
started
1800s and hot air
in
balloons,
Boston.
man.
Yeah.
Dude, just
It ended in New York City, and 2 of the competitors in the race were American brothers named William and John Jeffers. The brothers were confident that they could win this race, but they had no idea how they would get to the finish line. They'd never flown a balloon before. They decided to cut the balloon.
They'd never flown a balloon before.
So they're trying to get to the race, and they realized their balloon was too large to transport by rail. So they decided to cut it in half and carry the pieces on the train. They carefully cut the balloon in half using a hot knife. They removed the basket and tied the balloon pieces to a flat wagon. They successfully transported the balloon to the finish line. However, they were disqualified because they had not actually flown the balloon to the finish line. The balloon was then cut up again and sold to the public. Juicy. Number 6. Dude. The hot air balloon accident that wasn't an accident.
No,
1823. A group of British Army officers was
Back to the 1800s again.
They were attending a dinner party at the home of Colonel Crichton. The officers were having a great time until a hot air balloon crashed into the house. The balloon was carrying a young couple who were to be married the next day. Everyone in the house was killed, including the bride-to-be, who was decapitated by the balloon's basket.
Oh,
the accident was covered up by the government to prevent a panic.
People find out about this, they're going to
Dude,
riot.
I imagine a hot air balloon
It's
crashing
gonna be
into a
panic
stone
in the
building.
streets,
And I
guys.
just imagine this. But instead, everyone was killed and she got decapitated?
And it wasn't an accident.
No,
Yeah.
it was not an accident.
All right, we're getting hot. Number 5, the balloonist who got cold feet.
Uh-oh.
It was December 1808. A hot air balloon race was held at the county fair in London. It was a fairly low-key event, which is why it attracted a lot of attention.
People are just like, I really want to chill out. So where can we go? It's like nationwide.
There were 2 men that were supposed to fly one of the balloons, but they decided at the last minute they were not going to participate in the race. However, a young 14-year-old boy named William Russell was standing nearby when he overheard the men talking. He asked if they would let him fly the balloon. They agreed, and the boy took off with the balloon. The balloon was supposed to fly for a few miles. However, the boy flew the balloon for nearly 30 miles and landed safely. He was rewarded a gold medal for bravery.
Are you sure this isn't GPT-3?
That was okay. Anyways, number 4. The
All right, go to 2.
Hold on, we're going. The scout who flew too high. I don't want to rush it. These are good.
These are all good.
Oh boy. Well,
What happened to the scout that flew too high?
it was 1880, obviously, and the hot air balloon. There was a hot air balloon in New York City, and it was the largest hot air balloon ever built.
No way.
Oh,
3,000 cubic meters of hot air,
that's a lot.
and it soared to a height of 1,000 feet.
Damn.
That's not very high.
It was the first time a hot air balloon ever flew that high. However, the balloon was too large to fly in most weather conditions, so it had to be flown in the most optimal conditions. And its flight was postponed several times because of bad weather.
Sensible.
And on the 17th of September, the weather was perfect, and the balloon took off. It rose to 1,000 feet, but caught in a windstorm. He tried to pilot the balloon to safety, but he was unable to control it. The balloon was blown over the city of Brooklyn and landed in the middle of a city street. The pilot was knocked unconscious by the impact, and the balloon was completely destroyed. It was the first time a hot air balloon had been destroyed, and was a very significant loss for the aeronautics community.
Because there was a huge,
God.
there's a huge aeronautics community in 1880.
First time a hot air balloon had ever died.
Besides the one the 3 that Napoleon destroyed. Yeah, okay.
So anyways, it repeated the hot air balloon of death story. It was French this time. I can summarize it though. It was basically these guys had a close call, landed, and were fine. And then it just says 5 years later they were killed in another hot air balloon accident. Oh, here we go. Number 2, hot air balloon of death 2.
Oh, the sequel.
Electric balloon.
It's like we need a title for this accident. We're going to use hot air balloon of death.
Like a hot air balloon of doom. Like,
1785, a hot air balloon was built for
This is gonna be
Jean-François
bad.
Pelatre de Rosier. He wanted to use a balloon to take him to the top of the Cathedral of Notre Dame in Paris. He took the balloon to the top of the church, but he was not able to reach the top of the spire. It was a very pathetic flight, I suppose. The balloon was too heavy to carry him high enough to make it to the top of the spire, but he was still determined to make it to the top. He climbed into the basket. The balloon was filled with hot air. The balloon lifted off the ground, and when it reached 100 feet, the balloon exploded,
Oh my gosh.
and he fell to his death. And number 1, ladies and gentlemen,
Here
the
we
hot
go.
air balloon of death 3.
Oh my god.
Oh no. Hold on. This is still about Notre Dame. Refresh. You can do better than this. All right. Can we do it?
Is the sequel going to be better? Let's see.
that a balloon
1828. Another French hot air balloon. It was larger than previous balloons, and it was designed in a way to make it easier to control. The balloon was filled with air, and it lifted off the ground. The balloon rose to 300 feet. But then the pilots decided to jump to safety because the balloon continued to rise and eventually exploded. The pilot's body was found a few days later, and a crowd of people had gathered to watch the balloon.
Dude, jumping
That
to
one
safety from a
should have
balloon.
been. That should have been number 10.
That sounds like some AI
man.
story writing right there.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, I refreshed it to see if there was an alternate ending, and there was. And it's the balloon exploded, and it was the first time an explosion happened mid-flight with an air balloon. The pilot, this time, did not die. He was lucky enough to survive the explosion, but he was severely injured. He was taken to the hospital where he was treated for burns. He eventually recovered, but he was unable to walk for a very long time. And he was named Jean-Pierre Blanchard now,
Okay.
and he went down in history as the first man to fly in a hot air balloon.
Wow.
Do you think
I
there was a
love
real
history.
Jean-Pierre Blanchard? Let's look this up.
It must be drawing on
Yes,
like real.
yes,
There
Jean-Pierre
was.
Blanchard, a
Wow.
French inventor.
So it's actually drawing on some real names here.
Anyways,
Jean-Pierre Blanchard was a French inventor best known as a pioneer in balloon flight,
oh my God!
who
So there was
distinguished
some
himself in the
truth.
conquest of the air in a balloon, in particular the first crossing of the English Channel on 7 January
Wow.
1785.
Before the balloon exploded and he narrowly escaped with his
Yes.
life.
Wait, let's see if he died. Let's see if he died in flight. Let's see.
God, I literally just cry
That
and
was amazing.
can't help it every time we read this.
Wait. On 20 February 1808, Blanchard had a heart attack while in his balloon. He fell from the balloon and died roughly a year later due to severe injuries. This is not AI.
Oh my God!
Wow.
His widow continued to support herself with ballooning demonstrations until doing so also killed her.
Oh my God, dude.
Wow.
Ballooning is dangerous. Careful, man. When you go.
Yeah, maybe
Maybe
just
this is
remember
maybe-
Blanchard,
Maybe,
okay?
maybe this is why I haven't booked it yet.
Dude, never forget Blanchard.
Sam, do you have any more announcements to make?
Well, I have a new announcement, which is I've decided to postpone my hot air balloon ride indefinitely.
Dang, it's probably for the best.
What a
After those
twist.
stories, I don't know. Maybe there's other safer ways to get a thrill.
You can always
Skydiving.
ask your AI.
Well,
friend.
it's really come full circle.
All right, I'll give you guys this. With that sad announcement that I had to make, I will consult the AI and ask it what the safest way to get a thrill is. What
Okay,
is
guys,
the safest way?
Early
to
balloon
get-
flights triggered the phase of public Balloonomania.
oh, it's a real thing.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm thinking Balloonomania ever went
mean-
away.
Blanchard established Balloonomania.
Here's the safest way to get a good thrill. A safe car, I guess. Oh, on a mountain bike. There we go.
Hey, you have one of those.
I already have one
Yeah,
of those.
there you go.
All right, well,
No balloons needed.
I guess I have all the tools to get a thrill in my disposal already.
All right. Well, that was a great podcast episode. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Guys, after the invention of the modern parachute in 1783, Blanchard demonstrated it as a means of jumping safely from the hot air balloon.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm.
His first parachute demonstrations were conducted with a dog as the passenger.
Huh. Did the dog make it?
It doesn't say.
I guess I'm going to assume no.
Later, he had the opportunity to try it himself. In 1793, his hot air balloon ruptured, and he used a parachute to escape.
Oh, he did
so
jump
I
to
guess
safety.
He did
explode.
need it.
So it was really, okay. It knows what it's talking
Wow.
about.
The 1800s, man. Balloonomania.
Yeah.
Sounds
Balloon-
wonderful.
I'm going to take
Mania.
everything
Should
he
make a
said
movie
as
about
fact. Dude.
Yeah.
Like
It's a whole new world.
Balloonists.
it's like a really intense drama about like these backstabbing balloonists.
It's here right now.
Yeah.
Robert Downey Jr., Christian Bale.
Benedict Cumberbatch has to be in there.
Definitely
Dude.
Benedict
Yeah,
Cumberbatch.
As the rogue one who's like,
Yeah, he's like the rogue naysayer.
he like creates a balloon that no one's ever seen before.
And Christoph
And he's like
Waltz.
really manic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People try and
Yeah.
ask him about his balloon. He just can't ever give him the time
and
of day.
like no
It's
one
you
is
wouldn't
concerned.
understand.
No one is concerned enough about the high risk of death other than
Chauncey,
Benedict.
Yeah.
He's the
what's
only one
up
who's
there?
taking it
Why
seriously.
do you always stare at the sky?
It starts with a montage of them as boys looking at the sky and birds. It's like, one day I had a dream of flight.
Oh, hey, there was another guy named Jeffries. Sam.
We're writing the movie. Let's do it. Let's write
Just
it.
do
All
that.
right, Ivy's making tacos right now. I need to head home.
See you later. All right, guys.
That's
Till
it.
next time.
All right, so
Son of a dungeon.
Son of a Dungeon comes out next week. Son of a Dungeon. Don't miss
Oh,
out. It's
man.
crazy.
It's crazy.
What a
It's crazy.
wacky podcast.
I'm going to go
really
on
good.
about Ballona Mania until Christian fades me out. Guys,
Dude,
Ballona Mania was a strong public interest or fad in balloons that originated in France in the late 18th century and continued into the 19th century during the advent of balloon flights. The interest began with the flights of the Montgolfier. Oh, you got it? You turned it off?
I haven't yet.
Oh, okay.
Don't stop, Jake. Don't stop.
There it is. Okay. Soon afterwards, Jacques Alexandre César Charles flew another type of balloon inflated with hydrogen, and both types of balloons were used from then on. The fad quickly spread in France and across the Channel in England. Public responses. Early ballooning was met with mixed responses. Crowds of hundreds or thousands of enthusiastic onlookers would turn out for a balloon launch, even threatening to riot if the launch was delayed. Some, however, were not quite as impressed, as shown by the events of August 27th, 1783, when Professor Jean-Alexandre César Charles, who had been commissioned to build a rival balloon to the Montgolfier's version of using hydrogen, launched his own balloon from the Champ de Mars before a large crowd, including American scientist Benjamin Franklin. The balloon traveled for 45 minutes, quote, and 15 miles to the village of Genoese, where it was attacked by frightened peasants upon landing.